Hello, 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 hello. Welcome to the JOA show. Welcome. I appreciate y'all. I really do. Look, I tried to set up a good show for you guys today. I told you guys I may come on, may not come on. So I really do appreciate if you guys show me some love, y'all. Y'all don't understand how hard it is to come up with content and to edit and to do a story and so on and so forth. So I'd appreciate if you go on patreon.com/JOA. JOA, I really do appreciate it, y'all. It's been a rough several days for me, especially what's going on overseas and especially just what's going on in the mouth of the president. Seeing past clips of what he said in the past when he introduced the crime bill in 1994, and then including towards how he feels about, Israel and my people. And it's just like, I don't want to play the clip because I just don't want YouTube to censor it. All I'm going to say is my heart goes out to Palestine. It really does. I'm all for peace. I'm all for my people, and you could just if this doesn't tell you over the years how it occurred, this was around like before 1948, and over time it's just added up territories from the Israeli side, and even these little green segments here towards the end, there's Israeli settlements in those green territories, and right now it's kind of like going to be a I don't want to call it a WAR. It's going to be like a whole another little thing going on with them, a war, if you get what I'm saying. So it's highly just it's serious. It's serious right now. And I want to say free Palestine. I also want to read the statement that Joe Biden released, which is pretty much a bunch of garbage. He says President Biden spoke today with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. He condemned the rocket attacks by Hamas and other T groups. I'm going to say T just for censorship, including against Jerusalem and Tel Aviv. He conveyed his unwavering support for Israel's security and for Israel's legitimate right to defend itself. You see that, right to defend itself and its people while protecting civilians. He also conveyed the USA encouragement of a pathway towards restoring a sustainable calm. He shared his conviction that Jerusalem, a city of such importance to people of faith from around the world, must be a place of peace. He updated the prime ministers on the United States diplomatic engagement with regional countries, including Egypt, Jordan, and Qatar, as well as with Palestinian officials. The two leaders spread to maintain the close consultation between their teams, which has included consistent engagement by their respective foreign ministers, defense ministers, chief of defense, and national security advisors, and stay in touch personally to the days ahead. So y'all, I tell you this all the time. I am grateful for everybody that watch me. Y'all don't understand how hard it is to show an audience. I don't know if I make it easy to get an audience, but y'all, it's not easy. It's really hard. It's equivalent to probably like a half a probability of winning the lottery. So it's probably like 1% of winning the lottery. So I would probably say, it's doable. You can do it, but it's dedication. I know I got various people on my channel that have different viewpoints on a situation, but you got to consider my situation because I am first generation Palestinian, right? My father came here late 20s. And my father and his siblings and everybody, they migrated to Jordan. They migrated next door, because of the situation that was going on. And all I know is, growing up, I've always wanted to go there. I tell them this all the time. I'm like, hey, I want to go. My friends are going. Why can't I go? And it was always never an answer. It was always for protection, because of what's going on. And so but if I say, hey, I want to go to Jordan, they're like, my father is like ecstatic. He's happy and so on and so forth because, him and my mom, they have a house over there. And literally 90% of my family on my father's side lives in Jordan, right? So literally, if you consider it metaphorically, I won the lottery. I say metaphorically because meaning I'm an American. My father, he's a citizen, and all of his brothers and sisters are non-citizens. They live in Jordan overseas. So this is why I say metaphorically, because, you know, okay, I'm a citizen, right? American citizen, just like you that's watching this, 100% citizen. And so it's like, I am in a land of opportunity, what they call it, but it's still like, you know, you see my last name, you see who I am, you see where I'm from. I still got to work 3 times harder, you know, than the next person, you know, and I don't want to sound declusive to people that are white or whatever, but I'm saying this seriously. Like, I've dealt with that in my last job. I've dealt with prejudice. I got hurt on my last job. I was literally in front of the owner who owned several of these detailing shops. And I had a moment of prejudiceness with him, you know, where he questioned where I worked last. So don't tell me that critical race theory is a bunch of BS, because a lot of people on the right, they're trying to take critical race theory away, right? But what they don't realize is the race theory that they teach in school now isn't even the truth, isn't even 100%. All they talk about is the African slave trade. They really don't talk about what Black people did before being slaves. Black people are smart, okay? Black people are entrepreneurs. You know, Black people did great things. A lot of these inventions during Black History Month, they got some great, smart Black people that invented things that you probably, and I probably wouldn't even know about. But they don't talk about that in school. But what these Republicans on the right, what they also don't realize is if you take critical race theory off of school, which really doesn't do anything, I mean, you could take it away. They don't realize that there's a thing called the internet, called Google. There's social media. They don't realize that there's a thing called an algorithm that literally when you're on your phone, things are going to come up to your phone no matter what. So you're wasting your time by trying to delete a critical race theory because your kids, you're scared that your kids are going to be facing or feeling inferior to the minority race. Well, guess what? Guess how Black people faced for 400 years. Guess how other minorities faced for 400 years. So you don't want to be the victim. I mean, you don't want to feel like you're victimized. So, I mean, either way, if they take it away for school or not, it's the internet. They're going to see it. It's going to be in the news. So you're not deleting it. I mean, the only way you delete it if you just cancel Google and cancel the internet, which you really can't do. That's highly impossible. So the critical race theory, I mean, it's a bunch of BS. Start doing things that matter. And I also want to say this. I am disappointed in Black people. I'm really disappointed in y'all. Not all of y'all, but some of y'all, because I am on Twitter and I am seeing retweets. I am seeing likes. I am seeing connections with people being pro-Israel and pro what's going on. And I'm like, do y'all not see the linkage of what's really going on? Do y'all really think Biden care about you after all of these years? The only reason I tell y'all this all the time, and I tell Black people in my personal life all the time that, hey, it's not like Biden care about y'all. Hell, I told my Olive Garden waiter that when he like his eyes popped up when I said that. I was like, well, it's not what Biden care about y'all. It's not because he has no choice. He has no choice. All right. You know, he hasn't won. I mean, a president hasn't won the election without the Black vote in 30 years. All right. So when I see Black people condoning hate, condoning the apartheid in Palestine on Twitter, I get pissed off. Like, I'm shocked. I used to follow this guy on YouTube. He talks about YouTube and he talks about how to, you know, social media, whatever. His name's Roberto Blake. And he's liking what Andrew Yang wrote. He's liking what other, I'm like, dude, like, aren't you Black? You're forgetting. I mean, and you know, I'm just like, please look up the history of Palestinian mistreatment and look up the history of Black mistreatment. And I promise you're going to find commonalities within the two. And he blocked me. You know what I mean? So I'm highly upset. There's a publicist on Twitter that replied to me when I wrote Nigga, but I wrote an asterisk because there was a woman on Teen Vogue that lost her job for saying that. And I said, well, Nigga, and I put all asterisks, is very common in the South. I don't say it, but it means my friend, my buddy. You know, it's kind of like saying my G, my dude, whatever. And she goes, oh, you still had time to delete this. And I was like, baby, I'm Palestinian, first of all. I've been called a sin, N-word a whole bunch of times. I've been called the T-word, a terrorist a whole bunch of times. And the same person that got on me on that retweeting pro-Israel tweets. I'm like, I wrote F you. I simply cursed her out and I said, hey, You want me to be for Black Lives Matter, which I am, not for the organization, but for the race. But at the same time, you're not for Palestinians. You're not for Palestinian lives. They don't matter. And she didn't reply. She didn't block me. So I'm highly disappointed in Black people. But I'm not surprised at the same time. But it really hurts. Like, it hurts me to the core when I got to be on Twitter all day, seeing kids, seeing children, being covered, because they're seeing an airstrike, or kids being killed or whatever, or parents being killed during Ramadan while tomorrow's the Eid, a celebration of Ramadan. And it's like, come on now, Black people, y'all gotta know, but I expect this from the white race. I don't expect this from y'all. I really don't. I really don't. There's a linkage. $3.8 billion of your tax dollars go to the Israeli army. Do you not think that these police departments aren't trained by the army in Israel? Do you not think that? Because the kneeling on the neck is a very popular technique in Palestine. It's very popular. So of course that's going to translate over here. Dr. Lamont Hill is the only Black person that I really stand for, that I really love, because he stands for, Palestine. He lived over there. He done research over there. He got fired from CNN, which is fake news. I don't blame Trump for saying that. It's one thing I agree with about Trump saying that. I didn't listen to what Jake Tapper said on The View today. I'm going to listen after I do the show, and I'm going to go listen, but I know I'm going to be pissed off because CNN is a bunch of liberal, democratic cult that really don't give a damn about my people, that Wolf Blitzer served allegedly with in a Jewish organization. So he's like the king of CNN. You can't get past him. You know what I mean? And the president, Jeff Zucker, don't really care. They just want to report what they want to report. I've watched actually Palestinian writers, because CNN's international, go on an international level on CNN. I haven't seen anything on Cuomo. I haven't seen anything on Don Lemon. Mind you, these are two people that talk about issues about race. Do you really think these people care about race? I told you about Don Lemon raccoon self. Don Lemon been with CNN for 16 years. So you're telling me from 2006 till, but going on 16, you're telling me from 2006 till now, he ain't saying nothing about Black people. But now he's saying something about Black people because he got books out. He got things to promote. But he's from Baton Rouge. I know people that told me personally that he used to call Black people that's dark-skinned ghetto, because y'all know in the Black race that there's colorism that exists. He used to say it all the time, oh, they too ghetto. He one of them people that hang with the preppy people in LSU. You know what I mean? He don't care about Black people. So you're telling me for 16 years, this man didn't say nothing about Black people, now all of a sudden it's coming out of his mouth? This man justified the KO-ness, I'm going to say KO, knockout, that's keyword for, you passed away, of Ma'Khia Bryant. 4 shots was okay. That's okay what the officer did. The officer was new. The officer, been an officer since 2019. His father was a sergeant, trained over 400 officers, and he got hired through nepotism. Y'all know what nepotism does. I talk about her all the time. Meghan McCain, y'all know when someone gets hired through nepotism that more than likely they're not qualified for the job. His father trained over 700 officers, got his son on board. His son was a senior in 2016. That's when I graduated college. His son is young, okay? The man that KO'd Ma'Khia Bryant. Senior year, towards the end of senior year, he transferred to another school. I have questions about that. Why did you transfer? There's a person talking anonymously, and I know y'all like to look at stuff when it's on the plight of media, when everything is popular, but I like to look at stuff when it's no longer in the media to see what's going on. You know what I mean? And I've been looking at that story, all right? So somebody that went to school with him spoke anonymously to a source saying that he has anger management issues, saying that the sergeant that KO'd Ma'Khia Bryant, he was a scrumpy white dude that had anger management issues. So you're telling me you're going to send a person out to a fight with a whole bunch of Black people that has no experience, has only been on the force for 18 months. His experience is working at Dollar General or detailing not even detailing a Walmart, detailing maybe a mom and pop, a little convenience store that sells candy and stuff like that. That's his qualifications. Okay, so there needs to be more training. But y'all, to be honest with you, like I'm very upset with black people right now. Like I'm pissed. I am pissed. Okay, it doesn't surprise me about Andrew Yang. It doesn't surprise me about white people. Because Andrew Yang, his campaign was a failure for presidency. Now he's trying to run for mayor in New York. And y'all know who run New York. Y'all know who you got to fall in line with. Nick Cannon knew. Right? So that's what you got to do. That's what you got to do to fall in line. So I am pissed off. I'm going to continue to do the show. I know a lot of y'all may want to come on, but y'all gonna have to wait and see, because I didn't even read the comments. Yeah. I'm pissed off. Like I am insanely, I'm just like, I'm pissed off at the world. I am ashamed to be an American. Clearly CNN has a narrative. They are fake news. I was watching a Palestinian writer, a person that actually commentates on CNN, being interrogated by journalists. She was showing her biases. Now, mind you, this is international. They didn't do it on a national. They didn't do international, meaning, CNN is all over, not just in the U.S. They're in other countries as well. So what I'm saying is the woman sounds like she's from, I don't know, UK or whatever. And her biasness was shown. And he did really well in that interview. And then I said, hey, you did well. MSNBC is my new favorite network. They're my new favorite network because they don't seem like they biased. They actually have a Middle Eastern, half Egyptian, half Palestinian anchor that has a show on MSNBC. So that's my new favorite network, MSNBC. And so, I saw him, hey, you did really well on MSNBC. I see CNN didn't call you, and then he liked it, and he unliked the tweet. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say. And then I'm going to do my show. And then if anybody want to come in, get y'all comments. And after that, I'm getting off. This is not going to be like a Zoom call like I usually do. So I want to talk about, I'm going to move on from that. But do not tell me why I didn't vote. Do not tell me, Jordan, why didn't you vote for Biden? Do not tell me that, because I knew this was going to come up. I knew this situation with Palestine and Israel was going to come up down the line when a new administration changed. I knew it was going to come up. So don't tell me why I didn't vote. That little article that I showed you about him talking to Benjamin Netanyahu, the most criminal, worse than Trump. Don't tell me why I didn't vote. Please don't, because I'm going to show you that, and then I'm going to show you this. This is what I'm going to show you. So don't say, Jordan, why didn't you vote at all? So I want to talk about this chick, Meghan McCain. Meghan McCain, She's lost. She is lost now. On the show, she realizes that she can't do anything. Her husband is extremely to the right, and she realizes, okay, either I got to continuously sell my soul on The View, or I got to find a way to do something else along the way. So y'all recall on The View when she was defending Liz Cheney. Y'all recall when she put herself into Liz Cheney's shoes, because she likes to make things about herself. And she was talking about herself being an educated woman and Liz Cheney being an educated woman, and that the Republican Party is going to face consequences if they, go through this. Well, now, you guys, she is singing a different tune on Twitter. She is saying that she has a right to be angry with Liz Cheney. So this is why I don't trust anything what this girl says at all. Obviously she needs to keep her job, because on The View, her job is to talk about the opposing side, but there's no opposing side for her. So now she has to find a strategy as to how to keep her job on the show. And so she's like a Candace Owens now, but Candace has a little thing going on, but Meghan McCain is a different Republican, or supposed to be a different Republican than the lack of morals and principles. So she is stuck. And so I want to show you guys what I covered and what I did. Is kind of like an audio call, and I'm going to come back with some more, okay? So keep it here. So Meghan McCain knows that her plight on The View is coming to an end, that her Republican Party is destroyed, and she can't continue to sell her soul on The View, and she's tired of touting her husband's rhetoric. She's trying to stop doing that. So she's trying to find a way to create dialogue. And one thing she's doing is using the problems in the Middle East to talk about on The View, when we all fully know that The View is a biased show as well, that they're anti-Palestine. You know, they're pro-apartheid in Palestine for 73 years. And so she has numerous posts on her Twitter page about The View. You know, she has this woman who's also siding with the apartheid of Israel, and also had questionable posts in the past about being pro people dying and so on and so forth. And so she's getting so desperate that she invited a man. His name's Josh Holmes. He's actually the person that works on Mitch McConnell teams. He's a president and founding partner of Cavalry LLC, former chief of staff and campaign manager to Mitch McConnell, co-host of a podcast as well. And Meghan McCain writes, I can't be scared and horrified of all these issues and also be angry about Liz Cheney. I can be scared and horrified of all these issues and also be angry about Liz Cheney. You see how she sung her soul, but on The View, she said that she included herself with Liz Cheney. She said she's an educated woman and she included herself with Liz Cheney. Then she writes, want to come try out my seat at The View and see how easy it is in the big leagues, cowboy. But what, didn't she just say that she was siding with Liz Cheney? Now she's saying I can be scared and horrified of all these issues and also be angry about Liz Cheney. What is wrong with her? What did her husband do to her? You see what I mean? So Josh Holmes, his tweet was border crisis, gas lines, inflation, economic stagnation, kids still out of school, rockets attacks in Israel, and on and on and on. If you're a Republican under the dome not talking about any of this today, you have weakening your country. So this woman is siding with him and is being angry about Liz Cheney. She is selling her soul to the party because, you guys, she is desperate. She is so desperate she doesn't know what to do. And so Laverne Spicer writes, Meghan McCain is crying because loser Liz is out, but she's really going to be crying when The View gives Liz her job. And Laverne Spicer is actually a Republican candidate for Florida, fighting to expose the lies of the left and end the Democrat discretion of Black America. Join me in the fight. Okay, there's someone I don't agree with, but I agree with her with this tweet. And so she's really losing it, you guys. So she's continuously trying to find her way in the Republican Party. And she's continuously trying to say that she's for Liz Cheney, but now she's against Liz Cheney. This woman is playing on both sides, and it's really, really chaotic. And here goes. Arizona stands with Israel. She retweets Ben Shapiro as if he knows what goes on overseas for the past 73 years. It's not anti-Semitism to criticize Israel, but by far the most of the people who criticize Israel are anti-Semites. Okay, since when is it not anti-Semitic to criticize Israel? Since when? Since when? So, you know, in these past tweets of her and her father going to Palestine, I'm going to say, we stand with Israel and all of that stuff. So, y'all, like, I'm over her and I'm just over this whole situation. So, actually, I also want to say this. I didn't show y'all the tweet. The guy that she wanted to come on her on the show, Mr. Holmes, he was the he worked under Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell. Y'all know who Mitch McConnell is? Turkey man. The man didn't want to get unemployment. The man that denounced stimulus checks. He didn't want to get involved or nothing when it came to that. So I didn't show you this tweet, but the guy who worked for Mitch McConnell actually responded back to Meghan McCain and said, when would you like me to come on? So this girl is trying to find ways and tactics to stay relevant on the show and actually trying to form some type of strategy, because either this, she has to go with her husband and tout what he touts, or, you know, like the other day, you know, she told us let Republicans find out the solution on their own. Then she asked Whoopi, she was like, what do I do? Like, what do I do? You know, so now this is why I told y'all I would never forgive this woman. This is why I told y'all this. Now, what she's doing is, remember, she said that her and Liz Cheney, they're educated women, that her and Liz Cheney are like the only females in the Republican Party, literally the only people in the Republican Party, besides like Mitt Romney, and maybe another person that I can't really think of, Cindy McCain and somebody else. She said they are the only two people, you know, on mainstream media that are college educated. But the tweet that I just showed y'all, she said that she's angry with Liz Cheney. So, bitch, which one are you? Like, pick one. Like you can't jump on both sides. You see what I mean? So, you know, she's trying to keep her job because she realizes that her job was to speak on the opposing side. But if she chooses to dismantle herself from the side of her husband, then what's the point of you being on The View then? You see what I mean? So now she's kowtowing to people that work for Mitch McConnell, and she's trying to invite people that has a say on the side of her husband, because her husband is the opposite in politics as her. So this woman is full of hypocrisy. This is why I can't stand her. This is why I will never ever like her, ever like her. I mean, her mom, who's a mistress, is better than she is. At least her mom doesn't jump sides. You know, her mom voted Democratic twice within her 60-something years of living. You know, Meghan McCain Meghan McCain's all over the place. All over the place. All right. So I want to change that note, and I want to talk about something positive, which is not really positive, but I'm going to make it positive. All right. I want to talk about Wendy. I want to talk about Wendy Williams. And y'all, like, I know I have been very, very critical of Wendy, but let me tell you this. Like, I love Wendy. I love Wendy Williams' hustle. I respect her hustle. Y'all can say or I could say anything you can say. Y'all can say she lied about the mistress, which she did. Y'all can say the movie sucked, which I said, which it did. Y'all can say the documentary sucked, which I did, you know, but y'all can't deny this girl's hustle. You know, y'all can't deny her hustle. And I actually relate to Wendy. Like, I know how it feels to be alone. I know how it feels to not feel related or be in a relation with your family members or with your siblings. I know how it feels with being the outsider. You know, I'm from America, but I was raised with principles from overseas. I feel like I'm in the middle and I'm being pulled and I cannot move. So I relate to her and I understand with her. I don't care what you think about her. I don't, you know, or what, you know, or the fact that she gossips and says what she means or do what I do or I do what she do or whatever. Like I have respect for this woman. You know why I have respect for this woman? Because how she is on camera as crazy or as loony or as mean or whatever you want to call her as she is, at least she's the same way behind the scenes. And we know who she really is as a person. You know, she's not like an Oprah. She's not like an Ellen, who I'm going to get to. She's not like, you know, these talk show hosts that try to make you guys see them in a different light on camera. But behind the scenes, you know, in their 23 hours of life that they live, is their real person. And Wendy is not like that. You know, I can tell, you know, she's the only show that I can sit and watch the full hour without being bored, y'all. And I probably got ADHD. She's the only show I can watch without feeling bored. Okay. So her and this man broke up, you know, and I had a person, her name is Gage. She was like, I didn't find my niche. No, I found my niche. Don't put me in the box. I don't like being put in a box. I want to talk about politics. And then when I want to talk about something like Wendy Williams or whatever that's going on in pop culture that I feel when I'm interested in, that's what I'm doing. The problem is with people and people that watch or people in the entertainment industry, they want to put you in a box. You're not going to put me in a box. You know, I have entertainment political commentator on my channel for a reason. This is what I like to do. And if I want to be different from the rest and talk about both, I can do that because there are other shows. TYT does it. Other channels does it. They may not do as much as I do it, but I want to be myself and follow my own drift instead of being put in a box. You know, like people like to do in the entertainment business. So don't put me in a box. So this guy, I already told y'all. I told y'all that the relationship is not going to work. I told y'all that the three people Wendy picked, they both were in the entertainment industry. With him, the way he showed his case on Wendy's show, it was a lie. The jazz singer, we knew he was a jazz singer. Hell, the jazz singer actually had a mutual friend of mine, you know, on social media. Like, I was looking him up and everything. I even asked him, you know, if you want to come for an interview. He didn't email me back, nothing. Okay, so the jazz singer was wrong. The security guard worked in the industry was wrong. But at least those two black men did not fool Wendy and actually said, hey, this is what I do. This guy showed himself as a contractor, showed himself as fixing things. But when you look at his Instagram page, you would think he's married to Mario Lopez. This man is posting Mario Lopez. This man is taking pictures with Juliana Rancic that just quit E. This man is taking pictures with other celebrities. This man has a video from 10 years ago doing a red carpet with Juliana Rancic on E. But we didn't know that about him. he didn't showcase himself that on Wendy's show. And I think the reason why he did not showcase himself that because he didn't want our opinions. He didn't want us saying, oh no, he's a clout chaser. You know, he didn't want the opinions that we would have given, that we gave, that most of us gave with the two other black guys who showed what they really do. So instead, you know, he used his little white card and he said he's a contractor. But no, baby, you do more than contracting. You're trying to be in the industry. And so what Wendy needs is somebody that is like account. She needs like an Anna Navarro. You know, her man's like, you know, he got money. Okay. You know, she allegedly cheated on her man in the club. Anna Navarro, just saying allegedly. I'm saying allegedly, but that's true. Like, I know somebody, but yeah, I'm just, you know, during the engagement. But anyways, that's not my problem. But yeah. So the way he represented himself on the show was different from what his Instagram says, dog. When I tell you he likes to be in the celebrity field and everything. So, and then this man had the audacity to tell me that I need to call Wendy's show to interview him. But yet you're going on Fox, you're going on ABC, you're going on these networks talking about Wendy, talking about your date. But yeah, I got to call Wendy's show for an interview. Like I'm just as talented as the people on the networks that you're being interviewed from. They're not talented than I am. Like, I'm just on their level as well. I'm on a different platform. I'm on YouTube and they're on television. But, you know, I'm sure they didn't have to call the network, you know, but, or maybe my sense of style is too direct compared to the people on TV because they're not about that life. So they end up splitting. And I told y'all what this man said. He was on doing an interview with like, you know, a cable station, I believe in New York, whatever, that has like a lot of views. They get a lot of views and attention. And he said that Wendy Williams is not his type. And, you know, they went on some dates. They didn't have sex on her first date. He just gave her a gentleman kiss and stuff like that. And so Wendy did a show today or yesterday. Well, I think it was today because I watched yesterday's show. She said that he's going on press tours doing quotes. So he's being a Lonnie Love anyway. He's doing quotes on her, right? And so she insinuated that he's childish. And then he said some other stuff saying he didn't see the show, but he said some shade as well. And he said that, you know, they're two different people and they travel, they got busy schedules and she needs someone with more time. Well, baby, you knew who Wendy was. You knew Wendy's schedule. You know she was busy. So if you don't have time for her, why the hell did you put yourself? Don't say Mario Lopez told you, because that's what he said. Don't say your side dude, your alleged side dude told you that you did not know that Wendy needs more time for a man. So Wendy was saying that she would like, you know, actually like the man. She, you know, I mean, look at her. She actually liked the man, and she thought that with them two being close in age, she's a year older than he is, that they would have actually established something, that there wouldn't be no childish games going on. And despite the difference of him being in like Maryland and she being in New York, because, you know, she went to his house, she didn't think that would be a problem because they're grown, they got money, and they can meet. But apparently he's too busy for her. Dude, just say you wanted to use her for clout and just say what you really said, that she wasn't your type. And that's the reason why you didn't want to be with her, because she was not your type at all. All right. So anyways, you guys, I'm going to paste this link. I'm going to continue on my story. And if keep that link, make sure you know, but I'm not inviting people on yet. I'm going to continue to what I'm doing, and then I'm going to come back and read everything. So yeah, just tell the truth. Like, he just Instagram wannabe influencer, and she called him that on the show. And y'all know how Wendy feels about Instagram influencers. Y'all know how she feel about social media influencers. Y'all know how she feel about people like me, but I still love Wendy. I respect Wendy. I know I gave her a hard time over, you know, the time with the mistress, but that's what I do, and she that's what she do, you know what I mean? And I got my video blocked in 2018 when I said her and the mistress was at the same club. Her team blocked it, but I still have love for her. Like, you know, I have love for her ambition and her work ethic. You see what I mean? Because there's literally, like, I can't imagine anybody with the work ethic of like myself or with like Wendy. You see what I mean? But especially with Wendy. You know, she made it despite with her evil ass Israeli husband and everything. And so The only reason why, and I'm going to add this since, this whole situation with Israel and Palestine. Wendy Williams' son grew up with Jews, okay? So she is in the Jewish community, all right? So, yeah, she has a mouth, but in a way, she fell in line with the industry because she grew up. Her son had a black mitzvah, okay? So, like, she wasn't like in the canon where he said what he said, but Wendy grew up around a Jewish community. Like, she was upper middle class. So, yeah, she had a mouth, but what they loved more in Ira than my Mercury was her numbers. So she didn't have a problem with the Jews. She didn't have a conflict of interest like what I do. So it's going to be extra hard. And somebody told me this on here, and I was like, I know, but I'm ready. But I'm not selling my soul. It's going to be extra hard, more than Wendy, even though she's a black woman. Extra hard for me. If I want to have the career route that she has, I'm going to have to work 10 times harder than she is. You know what I mean? Or I don't even know if I'm able to see that, but I believe in God and I believe in energy and I believe in putting that in the world. And I don't think just because I'm Palestinian that I can't have a show that doesn't have to be like hers. Like maybe have a show on MSNBC who's more accepting of Palestinians because there's a host on there that's half Egyptian, half Palestinians, and are not scared to do stories on factual stories, unlike CNN. All right, so that's Wendy. That's the whole situation. I still have love. I have respect for her career and her climb, and I'm always going to do that. And she's actually a rarity in the industry that I actually look up to, career-wise, not personal-wise, career-wise. You know what I mean? So I want to talk about this thing. This thing right here is confused. I don't even know if this thing thinks they're transgender because they're literally a lot of people in transgender community saying that Caitlyn Jenner is not the representation of the transgender community. Like she is not. I did a video on her talking to Dana Bash on CNN, talking about who she met with and her views and everything. I don't know if y'all recall that video, if y'all watched that video. I told y'all that she is the walking poster trans woman. I'm not going to call her, I'm going to say trans woman. I'm not going to say woman. Trans woman of hypocrisy. She doesn't want transgender girls to play in women's sports, but yet she's in a league, a women's league. You see what I mean? She doesn't, she's not for gay marriage, but yet you are in the LGBT community, LGBTQIA community. She doesn't believe in gay marriage because she's a traditionalist. How the hell you're a traditionalist when you're transgender? That's an oxymoron, baby. Come on now. You can't change genders from what God gave you and be something else and be a traditionalist. That does not make sense. That's an oxymoron. That's a hypocrisy. Okay. And before she transitioned in California, she was driving. This was like a month before she transitioned. She was driving carelessly, illegally, hit a woman. The woman ended up dying. Her name is Kim Ho, 69-year-old woman. She did not even get a misdemeanor charge. She didn't get a little minor charge. She didn't serve time, no volunteering, no house arrest, nothing. She got off. Caitlyn Jenner got off from being a murderer. And I don't care if she didn't intentionally do it because clearly she probably did. She was in the car, but you still killed a woman. If somebody like me did that, God forbid, I would be in jail. If a normal person like you did it, you would be in jail. But she didn't go to jail. She didn't go to jail. I don't know how much money she gave to California, but she didn't go to jail. So I have a lot of people that watch me that's from California, and I feel sorry for you guys, but I don't even think she's gonna win. I don't think she's gonna win California. I'm going to play a clip of her lies. Caitlyn, okay, I'm gonna set the tone. I didn't play y'all that whole clip because it was like 11 minutes long, and I'm sure y'all don't want to watch 11 minutes, and plus it's gonna take long to upload. But Caitlyn Jenner said that she did not vote for Trump, and she didn't know that voting records are public, especially if you're a celebrity. So I'm gonna take a look here, and I'm gonna come back with some more.
Surround myself with good people, and I am very fortunate that the Republican Party has supported me in a way that they've surrounded me with really good people.
You said you haven't talked to Trump at all about any of this?
No.
Did you vote for him in 2020?
No.
Who'd you vote for?
I didn't even vote.
Why?
Out here in California, it's like, why vote for a Republican president? It's just not going to work. I mean, it's overwhelming. And at the
Did
time,
you vote down ticket?
No. It was voting day, and I thought the only thing out here in California that I worry about, which affects people, is the propositions that were out there. And I didn't see any propositions that I really had one side or the other. And so it was election day, and I just couldn't get excited about it. And I just wound up going to play golf, and I said, I'm not doing that.
This thing lied throughout the whole interview. Even when that interview first came out, I was watching it and I was like, she lying because she lied. She voted. She voted for Trump in 2020, y'all. This thing talking about she went to go play golf. So I mean, if the only thing you want to include where she is have a commonality with the Republican Party is lying and playing golf. That's two things. She lied. She voted for Trump, but she thought that since the people on the left, the liberal media or the liberals on the left that represent Hollywood and the gay people, West Hollywood, that they probably wouldn't have known, or she probably wouldn't have got exposed. But she lies from saying she doesn't support gay marriage to, saying, I don't want to, hurt somebody or so on and so forth, to playing on a women's league, but being against a transgender person playing on a woman's team, which I am against. I can say that because I'm not a hypocrite like her. I am against a transgender woman playing on a biological woman league because the muscle mass is two different things. You can maybe change the voice and the Adam's apple and maybe the boobs and maybe, the genitalia area, but you can't change the muscle mass. I'm against that. She said she's against that, but she's on a women's league right now playing golf. And bitch, you a whole Olympian. So you are like the anomaly. You won the Olympics. So you are a huge whopping hypocrisy. Then you say you're a traditionalist. You can't be a traditionalist looking like that. That don't make sense. You can't do that. That don't make sense. That's an oxymoron. People are saying, Jordan, you being homophobic. Like if somebody, is, and it's kind of like comparing somebody being gay saying they're traditionalist. I guess, but I guess you can be trans and be a traditionalist if you feel like you're in the wrong body. But like with her record is a list of hypocrisy, a list of contradictions. LGBTQIA, but you're against gay marriage. You're a conservative. I'm like, and look, there's actually a report of saying that she's against Trump. So that was a lie. She said she was against Trump because Trump was against trans being in the military. But we just found out yesterday that she voted for Trump when she did that interview with Dana Bash on CNN. So she is a walking hypocrisy. Like I said, I personally don't feel like a trans man. We always talk about trans women, but I don't think a trans man should play man sports. But I think a lot of people don't talk about that because of the propaganda of it all, because it's factual that, okay, a trans man and an actual man like me, like there's no way. But so they don't want to argue that, but they want to argue a trans woman. You see how the liberal media tries to, profit off of clicks and I'm in the industry, clicks and likes, but I'm not hypocrisy. At least I try not to be clicks and likes and stuff. So, they feel like they can say, oh, you're being transphobic or you're doing this, you're doing that because a trans woman should be, but we never talk about a trans man trying to play a man sport. So, because they know that the bone mass is different. Like, I am biologically stronger than a trans man. That's just facts. You can only do so much. You can't change what you are born with, bone-wise. I don't know. You can get stronger. You can be a Ronda Rousey possibly, but you can't change your change your muscle mass. All right, so that's that on that story. Like I said, I'm gonna continue talking, and then if you guys want to come on, this is the link. But I'm not gonna add you on. Up to 5 people could come on. But actually anybody could come on. But I'm gonna do one by one, and then I'm gonna call it a day. I'm not gonna stay on here 3 hours. I'm doing an actual content and show and stuff like that. So I want to talk about Ellen DeGeneres. That's who I want to talk about. Ellen D. Damn DeGeneres. All right. Ellen DeGeneres she's a walking hypocrite. All right. She is a damn walking hypocrite. I never liked Ellen. I knew that Ellen was sketchy before these reports came out. I probably knew as far as back as 2014, the Wendy Williams interview kind of indicated that, okay, she's condescending. Ellen was salty. Wendy Williams back in the day before YouTube was created. This is probably when YouTube was created. This probably was like 2005. Wendy was on the red carpet. She was on the red carpet and she was, doing her interviews. And then Portia de Rossi is somebody that came up to Wendy. And at that time, Portia was in a magazine. That's when magazines was still popular. And she saw Portia kissing a woman, all right? So Wendy asked her that interview. Or let me say ask, because sometimes I say ask, and John Tucker corrects me all the time. Ask. She asked in an interview, and Portia just ran off. So that's why Ellen was very condescending. But bitch, you invited her to your show. Your producers invited her as well to the show. You had her on your show twice. So why are you gonna be condescending to the woman? She was doing her job. She was doing her job. If you knew, if you know who Wendy Williams is because she outed your now failed marriage that you keep saying is not failed, but you living in a separate house. I think she said she lived with Courtney Cox. Courtney Cox probably getting licked by Ellen. Ellen probably licking her pussy right now. I won't be surprised if Sarah Gilbert was in there too. Let me stop. But Courtney, like, you live in a separate, her failed marriage that she keeps saying is not failed. Okay. But I heard some people talk about her, that I know they're like, yeah, her marriage is not what it says, because she's a whole liar. So if you know Ellen from what she did to your now wife, which she really didn't do anything, she was doing her damn job. Why the hell are you gonna invite her to your show 2 times and be condescending and be mean towards her and stuff like that? Why are you gonna do that? So I knew Ellen was a being. Plus, Ellen is from New Orleans. Ellen actually went to my school, the college that I graduated from, but she dropped out because she a stupid bitch. She dropped out and she was touting around New Orleans comedy clubs. And a lot of people that I know told me that she was mean behind the scenes in the comedy clubs. She was really mean to people and stuff like that. And so, Ellen, you're not oppressed just because you're a gay woman. You can hide that gayness, okay? You hid it for so long. She grew up in middle class, upper middle class. She went to a private school. She went to a school called Mount Carmel, okay, which I believe the person who I'm about to show y'all told me. A private school, right? So there is a man that at the time when this situation came about spoke to Daily Mail. This is when Ellen DeGeneres actually was accused, well, I'm not even going to say accused, was exposed of not wanting to look her staff in the eye, but she said she didn't know that. But bitch, you was a fucking actress. I used to be an extra on major shows, and they used to tell us don't look the talent, the actors and actresses in the eye, unless they talk to you as if they got or something. So you knew that, hoe. 3 producers got fired because of allegedly sexual misconduct, allegedly threatened if you go to HR, you can lose your job, sexual allegations being touched inappropriately. Racism was introduced as well. A lot of people spoke about racism anonymously with like people like BuzzFeed. And so she mad. She mad because of that, number one. And she mad because she lost 1 million viewers. Number 2, she was number 5. She was under boring Kelly and Ryan. When Ryan Seacrest is boring as hell. I don't want hearing out the closet, but boring as hell. Like, if you under Kelly and Ryan, there's something really wrong. And this is like her first time within like decades. She's been on that show for a long time, over a decade. Her first time in over a decade to be number 5, according to the other shows. So she was mad about that. And I also personally believe she feels betrayed because she was number 5 in the viewership. A lot of people were writing stuff about her on Twitter. A lot of celebrities, a celebrity had a thread saying, anybody have any bad experience with Ellen DeGeneres, please reply to this thread. They had a girl that was on Ellen DeGeneres, I forgot her name, a transgender girl, was saying that Ellen had her styling room on the 3rd floor, but Joe Jonas' room was like right behind the guest hosting stage, where you go out on the show. So she's salty. I feel like she's salty because of how people treated her when that exposing came out. Number 1, I also feel like she is traumatized by what happened when she first came out the closet. And she lost her career. When she was an actress, she lost her career. So I felt like those 2 things made her say, you know what, I'm just going to write some PR type of email saying that that I'm burnt out creative wise. I'm a creative person. And if I feel like I can't make this show better creative wise, if I've done everything I can do, then it's time to move on. And that's what she said. But bitch, don't lie. Like, you were mean. Don't say you're introverted and whatever. And like, I understand introvertedness. I'm introverted, but if somebody say hello, J-O-Hey or something, I'm going to talk. I'm not going to be like a Steve Harvey or Ellen and say, stab them. At least Steve Harvey was honest about that, saying that he doesn't want his staff to knock on his door. He don't want to be bothered. At least he was honest. Number one, at least Wendy actually loves her staff and brings food for her staff now since that Neanderthal Doodoo Brown is no longer in her life. And so, but with Ellen, she's one of those people, like I told y'all, that has this mantra to be kind to one another, which I talked about in the video today. If you haven't watched it, please do after this. To be kind to one another, but behind the scenes against Celine, she a ho-ho and a whole bitch and mean and thinks she over everybody, all right? So, and another thing, this is why I separate gay white people, gay, lesbian, trans, whatever, to people of color like me and black people, because Steve Harvey lost his show. Steve Harvey had 2 shows with NBC. He had a talk show, and he had a show called Little Big Shots with Melissa McCarthy, okay? When Monique was on the show, and Steve Harvey was like, man, your husband can't come out here and flex the way your husband can't come out here and flex the way he want to flex. We black out here, man. Okay, you got white executives upstairs. That's the people at the top. Steve Harvey, he's the host. He's at the bottom. He may seem like the top to you and I, but the people who write his paychecks are upstairs listening to that shit. He got fired. They didn't even get called through a meeting. He found out the way you and I found out through the blogs. So Kelly Clarkson replaced him, and the other chick, Melissa McCarthy, was on the other show. So 2 white people replaced him because he made that comment. That's how I feel. A lot of bloggers feel it, and it's commonality. Y'all know NBC. Y'all know what they do. Y'all know they got a racist issue. But Gabrielle Union, Nick Cannon left NBC when he was on America's Got Talent because he facing the issue, something like that. So y'all know NBC got a problem. So anyways, I'm going to play this video. And I'm going to look through y'all comment. Play. There's a man who's from Louisiana, right? Okay, he spoke to Daily Mail about this. I reached out to him. I found his personal number. You know, he told me that Ellen went to Mount Carmel, but he was like, he said Ellen, like he knew somebody else that Ellen know, but he doesn't know their name or information. But he didn't want to talk to me. He didn't want to talk to me at all. I reached out to him today. I said, hey, I'm sorry what you endured with Ellen, but I just want to let you know that her last season is next year, and then he'll be over with. This man was traumatized. This man never watched the Ellen show. This man he doesn't watch anything about her. But there was one time when he took his son to the movie, and they were watching Finding Nemo, and Dory was talking, who plays Ellen. He was traumatized. Ellen DeGeneres used to work for a woman who has a floral shop here in New Orleans, near the school that I went to and near the school Ellen DeGeneres went to, that she dropped out from because she's a stupid hoe. And this man was around 11, 12 years old. Ellen was about 19, 20, 21. Ellen DeGeneres would call that boy fat. She would call that boy ugly. He needs to lose weight. He has no talent. Like, he would go there at his mom's job and draw stuff. And she would tell him that he has no talent drawing. Why he drawing? So the boy carried that with him. And now he's a man. He's 50 something years old. And so you do the math, about 6, 7, 8 years younger than Ellen. 11 years old, about 10, 11 years old at the time. Ellen was 19, 20 years old, trying to figure out what she's going to do, probably doing comedy, probably working at that place on the side and doing comedy. And she traumatized this man. He didn't want to talk to me. You know, after I saw him on Daily Mail, when I reached out, when this whole scandal came out, I tried to reach out today to see if he wanted to come on. He didn't want to talk to me either, which I don't blame him. You know, he's not looking for clout. You know, he's very nice. He is doing really well for himself. He's like, he owns his own marketing company. So I'm going to play the clip for you guys, and I hope you guys enjoy. I'm going to look through the comments.
Ellen worked for my mother. My mother was a Snelling Personnel franchisee and had an office near the lakefront in New Orleans. And she worked in that office, and I'm not sure for how long she did, but I went to school not far from there. And, you know, as a kid, I always had a lot of health issues, a lot of health problems, as I do today, recovering from a knee replacement. So I was always kind of in and out of that office constantly. So that's kind of how I came to meet her. She made quite the impression, though, because it's one of the few people that I remember from that office some 40 years later.
40 or more years ago. Tell me how old you were when you met Ellen.
I would have been probably 11, 12, somewhere in that range, somewhere 11, 12-ish. Something like that. It would have been late 70s.
And so tell me, what did Ellen do when you would hang out in the office there as a child?
Well, it was interesting because I would go from desk to desk. I was kind of a happy kid. but I was a very overweight child. And I would go desk to desk and just visit with people. They had side chairs by every desk, and I would sit. And she was just very mean to me. When I was a child, she would criticize my weight. She would criticize the clothes I was wearing. I remember one day taking a stack of paper and creating a drawing. And I just vividly remember her just criticizing this drawing I was doing. But I think the things that caught me most is, being a child and being heavy, being overweight, you're always conscious of that, right? I mean, you get made fun of in school, you get made fun of other places. This was the first time I'd ever had someone who, in my eyes, was an adult do that to me. And I think that's one of the reasons it stuck with me for so many years. It was quite hurtful. And nowadays you look at that and say, well, maybe we should have just kind of laughed that off and moved on or whatever. But at that age, 11 years old, 12 years old, whatever I was, it had an impact.
And she was how old? Because she's 62 now, so she would have been what, about 20, or how old do you think she was?
Well, if she's 62 now, she'd have been 20, 21, 19, 20, 21, somewhere in that range.
And so how would you describe this situation? Is it an adult teasing or bullying a child? How would you describe it?
When you think about it, it almost seems like an adult teasing or bullying a child. But then if you think about her at the time, 19, 20 years old, maybe 21 max, you even wonder if that is an adult, right? I mean, it is clearly an adult, especially to someone 10 plus years younger. It just makes you wonder why.
And can you tell me some of the specific things she would say to you?
Absolutely. Well, going back 40 years, specifics are a little difficult to remember, but the things that I do remember, I do remember very snide comments. I do remember being called fat. I do remember criticisms of the drawing I was doing, of just, be nice if I had some talent, but you carry things like that with you. I remember, criticisms of even the clothing I would wear. I'm sure the clothing I wore was a bit tight or something. I don't remember the specifics of it, but I've kind of carried this with me all these years, to the point that, I have 3 sons, and my 2 older children know the story. And it's not something I would go out and tell people, right? It's not something I would share with people. The only way I would ever share it is if her name came up in conversation, and I would comment back and I would say something to the effect of, well, that's not my experience. And if they didn't say any more, it never went any further. But if they said, what do you mean? I would explain and say, well, that wasn't my experience. This is what I experienced when I was a kid, when I was a child. So I found her just to be, just unpleasant individual, just a mean person. It made me not want to go in that office. It made me not want to have any interaction there. It made me want to stay away.
Can you tell me how this affected you, sort of, in the years afterwards? How did these comments affect you?
I've always been conscious about my weight. It's always been up and down like a roller coaster. It's always, at one point a high of 330, now about 280. It's been as low as, the 190s. It's kind of just always been a roller coaster. I've just always been extremely self-conscious about it. It's made me think about how I treat other people, how I act towards other people. But it's also given me a sense that if somebody says, there's an old thing that people say, hey, you can't do that. And people go, okay, well, I'm going to persevere through and I'm going to do it anyway. Well, you tell me you can't do that. I go, okay, I won't do it. It's and I'm sure that that's not the sole reason, the sole incident from childhood that's done that, but it definitely had an effect on how I look at people, and how I look at people that treat children, and how I look at things like that. I'm very proud to say that my middle son, spends his time volunteering with children in need. I think we can do better. we can definitely do better.
And can you tell me sort of what crossed your mind when you saw these new allegations come out against Ellen, how it made you react?
It made me feel vindicated, because over the years, I haven't told this story many times of how I was treated when I was young. Because it's not been a topic of conversation. It's not been a topic of seeking publicity. It's not been a topic of any of that. But a lot of people you would tell that to, they would simply go, well, that's not true, or I can't imagine, or I can't believe, because there's this public persona. And I've never followed her career. I've never seen her comedy. I've never seen her talk show. I couldn't even tell you what network it's on. But it made me feel vindicated. It made me feel like I'm not the only one, because you carry that and you wonder, was it something I did wrong? Was it something that was my fault? Was I the reason? Was I the cause? And it made me feel like that wasn't the case anymore. And I haven't even read the stories. I've read the headlines that have come across on it and things, but I don't have an interest in reading any further. I can tell you when the Nemo movie came out, I took my children to it, not realizing that she was the voice of one of the fish in it. When I heard her voice on the screen, I was traumatized. I was like, oh my God, how could Disney have hired this person to do this children's movie? I don't know. Even to the point that my children wanted to do the Nemo ride at Disney. And I was like, yeah, have fun, go on your own. I'm not going through that.
So, y'all, it's obviously that he's a better man than I am, like a huge better man than I am. And I was reading your comments as this video is playing. This is the link if y'all want to come on and talk about anything that I talked about. I'm going to accept like 3, 4, 5 callers, and I'm going to call it a day. But let me say this. Y'all saw the little stand, I don't know what you call it, the little thing when you're hurt, the little cane. Y'all saw it. The man has an issue with his knee because he suffered from his weight for most of his life, as he said in the video. He's obviously also a creative person because he works in marketing now. Like, he's successful in marketing, but he also liked to draw. And, he was very careful with his words. But what I got from that video was that drawing was something that he loved to do. And with that, I want to say what I really want to say, but I don't want to sound like I'm home. I'm going to say what Loretta Devine said on Wendy. What that Diesel Dyke did was, that's what she said, what they call him in the South, but all I heard was a dyke. I don't know where Diesel Dyke came from. Was tell him as a young child that he has no talent, that he can't draw. So you got to realize that you're a child, dog. You're a kid, and you're being bullied. He got traumatized. He said in the video that he was scared to even go to his mother's business. His mother was the owner of the business. Ellen was working for his mother, but he was scared to go there after school and do his homework, do whatever, because this Neanderthal white hoe was bullying him, And so clearly, I hope he got the therapy because you got to realize the man was a child, dude. If you have a child there, and I'm assuming that she was babysitting him, that's what I'm assuming, because, a child at 9, 10 years old can't be left alone. And you have someone babysitting you, and someone is out of line. We hear all the times about what babysitters do. They either get touched or, they get verbally abused or physically abused. He clearly got verbally. I won't be surprised if he got physically, but I'm not even going to go there. So verbally abused. And clearly what she did to this man set the tone to his life. Like, it set the tone to his life. And the reason why this story didn't get as big as it's gotten is because he didn't want to talk anymore. He clearly told me on my phone, and I could show you guys if you guys think I'm lying. He told me that he's not taking any more interview requests. Like, and I was trying, dog. Like, I literally was, y'all know I'm impulsive. Like, a psychiatrist came on here the other day. Like, I was really trying to get him to say something. All I got from him was there was another classmate that she probably did something the same thing to at Mount Carmel, which is a high school, private school here. That's not too far from where I live, So clearly she did something to this man that's traumatized. And he also mentioned that why did Disney hire her? I don't know if he knows that Disney got skeletons in their closet as well, which is the reason why these actors and actresses come out the way they come out. Britney Spears, we can name a whole bunch of other people, you know. So, you know, I feel bad for him. I mean, you already started it. I wish he would have continuously talked more, because it's really hard to find this interview. And I'm kind of like ashamed, because here I am locally, and Daily Mail is in the UK. Like, we are in the same area. Like, I have a lead, a prospect, you know, where I could have landed that interview. But I mean, I didn't know that. I guess he reached overseas, because he thought maybe it wouldn't have gotten locally, or it wouldn't have gotten on a national scale here in the States. So he wanted to do something in the United Kingdom. You know, sweet guy, nice guy. I have a great intuition. Didn't want to see clout or get some type of fame or nothing from that, clearly, because he only done that one interview. Didn't want nothing to do with me 6 months later, you know, from when I text him back. I was like, let me find this man's number. So, like, I just don't like terrible people. Y'all may say what I can say. Like, I had Bevy Smith block me on Twitter today saying I'm toxic, whatever. But look, I like good people. And nowadays, there's not a lot of good people out there, especially in the celebrity realm. A lot of them are fake as hell. Like 99.9% of people are fake as hell. So every single video, when I say I hate this person, it's because they fall in line into that 99.9%. And like, I'm not here to be friends with people or a celebrity or whatever. Like, I had a dude the other day follow me that has like over 300,000 followers. He talked about police reform, being against like police reform, but yet he's talking free Palestine, you know. So there's a connection towards that, how police are treating Palestinians overseas, and a connection towards how police are treating people of color and Black people here. But yeah, you're touting free Palestine, but you're against police reform. So I told him, like, I hope your intentions are right, you know. And then he followed me. I'm like, dude, by you following me is not going to make me like change my mind about you. I saw a video of you on your podcast talking about it. So like, I'm being against police reform. So like, I don't look up to celebs. I don't look up to relationship couples. I know people say Black love or Remy Ma and Papoose. I was telling somebody at the grocery store the other day that I went to, I was like, y'all know Papoose dig down a side girl, but it's under wraps. Come on, man. He's a man at the end of the day. Like, ain't no way he was loyal to Remy Ma for 6.5 years. No, I don't like bullshit. And unfortunately, the industry that I am interested in is full of fake people, you know. Is literally full of fake people, like across the board. You know what I mean? So it's either you got to be a Monique or Steve Harvey, and I choose to be outspoken. I'm not saying I want to be a Monique, because I feel like in a way she messed up her career. At the same time, I understand how she feels about the industry. You see what I mean? So nobody wants to come on clearly and don't have any comments towards what I said. That's pretty much the end of what I have for y'all. I've been on here an hour and 7 minutes. And so if nobody want to come on and do commentary on any of the things that I talk about, then I'm assuming you guys don't want to. I really do appreciate you guys watching. I'm not begging for money. Patreon.com/JOA. A lot of these YouTubers, they do it. So, I mean, I don't see why it's an issue. $5. I did a poll probably like 6-7 months ago. So the poll would probably be double that, since my subscribers doubled since then. Like, a lot of y'all, 200 people said that they would donate, and $5 is not enough. It's not a lot of money. So patreon.com/JOA. I know it's hard times, but a lot of y'all got the stimulus check. It's not a lot of money. And the only reason why I do it is because things that I talk about, such as today, let's say with Caitlyn Jenner and whatever, politics, something that's not positive, YouTube, they don't like that. So I don't get paid for it or whatever. So Patreon is just a platform where they don't believe in censorship and stuff like that. YouTube is trying to be like TV, and you know, all of these celebrities coming on YouTube like Will Smith and you know, they got the table talk on Facebook. So they're really changing their rules, and they're trying to become like television. So that's the situation. So I really do appreciate if you can show support me in that way. And as well, I'm about to get off. I did my video, my little live. I appreciate everybody. Y'all don't want to come on, that's fine. Deuces. Yeah.